Hello students, I'm Amid from Exam KP and welcome. Today we are diving deep into a topic that is absolutely fundamental for your success, the definitions and scope of government. Seriously, if you get this right, you're building a solid foundation for acing your WAEC, NECO and JAMB exams. So let's get started and aim for that A1. So to really understand government, let's actually go way back in time, all the way to ancient Greeks. You see, the word government comes from a Greek word, kubenao, and it literally means to steer. The famous philosopher Plato came up with this brilliant metaphor of steering the ship of state. Just imagine it for a second. Society is this massive ship navigating a pretty rough and stormy sea. The government? Well, that's the captain at the helm, using the rudder to guide the ship, avoid the dangers, and get everyone to their destination safe and sound. That single idea, providing direction and control, that's really the heart of what the government is all about. All right, here's our roadmap for today's session. We're going to start by really locking in that steering the ship idea. Then we'll break down the three key meanings of government that, trust me, the examiners absolutely love to ask about. After that, we'll clear up a super important difference between the state and the government. And then, my favorite part, we're going to jump into some real past questions from WAEC, JAMB and NECO, so you can see exactly how this stuff shows up in the exam hall. Okay, first up, thinking of government as an institution. The easiest way to picture this is to think of it like the engine that makes the country run. And this engine has three main parts, or what we call branches. You have to know these. First, you've got the legislature. They are the ones who make the laws. For us, that's the National Assembly. Then there's the executive, which enforces the laws. Think of the president, the ministers, the police. And finally, the judiciary. Their job is to interpret the laws. These are our courts and our judges. Make law, enforce law, interpret law. Simple as that. But you know, government isn't just a static thing with three parts. It's also a process. It's the art of governing. This means all the actions, all the day-to-day stuff that's involved in running a country. We're talking about everything from political campaigns and voting to creating national budgets, signing international treaties, and actually putting new policies into practice. It's the constant act of work of steering that ship. And the third meaning? Well, it's the very reason you and I are here right now. Government is an academic subject you study in school. You might also hear it called political science. This is where we analyze everything we've been talking about. We study the big political ideas, we look at how those institutions work, we examine the nature of power, and we try to understand why people and governments behave the way they do. It's what helps you make sense of the world around you and understand your rights. Okay, pay close attention here because this is a classic exam trap, confusing the state with the government. They are not the same thing. Think of it like this. The state is permanent. Nigeria is a state. It has its territory, its people, its sovereignty, and it continues to exist no matter who wins an election. The government, however, is the temporary group of people in charge of running the state at a particular time. President and parties come and go, but the state of Nigeria remains. And here is the absolute key difference that examiners look for. The state is the entity that holds the right to use force, but it's the government that actually exercises that right through the police and military. All right, time to put what you've just learned into practice. Here's a real WAEC pass question. Read it carefully. What is that one thing, that special characteristic that separates the state from any other group or organization you can think of? Take a moment, pause if you need to, and think about your answer. Did you get it? The correct answer is C, violence. And this connects directly back to what we just discussed. I mean, think about it. Your school has rules, a company has rules, but only the state has the legal monopoly, the sole authority to use legitimate force to enforce laws and keep order. This is a fundamental concept of what it means to be a sovereign state. Okay, next up, a structured question from WAEC. Now, for these, you don't need a long story. You just need to be super precise. The question is straightforward. List the three branches of government when we define it as an institution. You know this one. And the answer is simple and direct. The legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Now, here's a crucial tip for your exam. To get all the marks, you have to list all three. Don't just list one or two. And by the way, if you write organs of government or arms of government, that's perfectly fine too. The examiner will mark it as correct. Just make sure you get all three down on that paper. Let's move on to a long essay question. Now, don't let the word essay scare you. These questions are usually just asking you to explain a big idea in detail. This one is about the philosopher John Locke and his theory on why we even have government. So your job here is to break down his core ideas clearly. To absolutely smash this essay and get full marks, you need to hit these 4 key points. First, Locke said we all have natural rights: life, liberty, and property. These are rights we're born with even before government exists. Second, a government is only legitimate if it's created with the consent of the people it governs. Third, this means government has to be a limited government. Its one and only job is to protect our natural rights, not to control every aspect of our lives. And fourth, and this is a big one, if that government breaks the contract and becomes a tyranny, the people have the right to revolt. Get these 4 keywords and ideas into your essay and you are golden. Okay, you ready to pick up the pace? Let's switch gears and do a JAMB and NECO quick try around. These are going to be fast, testing how quickly you can recall the facts. First one's from JAMB. Hey, we started the whole lesson with this. What does that Greek verb kubenao mean? And of course, the answer is B, to steer. See, it all connects right back to that ship of state metaphor. The whole point of government is to provide direction. JAMB loves testing the origins of these key political terms, so that's a fantastic one to have locked in your memory. Next question from JAMB, this time on political philosophy. We just talked about John Locke, who was focused on rights. But what about Thomas Hobbes? What did he famously say life would be like in a state of nature, without any government at all? The answer is that incredibly famous and pessimistic phrase, C, solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Hobbes had a much darker view than Locke. He believed that without a super strong, all-powerful government to keep everyone in check, life would just be a constant, chaotic war of everybody against everybody. That's his main argument for why we need a powerful ruler. One more from JAMB for you. This one is a direct test of those 3 definitions we covered right at the beginning. When we use the term political science, which of those 3 perspectives of government are we talking about? Think back, and you've got it. The answer is C, an academic field of study. See how these questions are put together? They're not trying to trick you. They're directly checking if you know the core concepts. Once you understand the 3 different ways to look at government, a question like this becomes an easy point for you. Great job. All right, let's look at a NECO question now. This one is less about theory and more about the practical, real-world functions of government. So which of these is something the government does to manage the economy? Take a look and see which ones you can rule out immediately. The correct answer is B. Setting tax guidelines and setting prices are classic examples of economic regulation. Let's look at the others. Interpreting laws, that's the judiciary. Declaring war, that's a defense or executive function. Appointing rulers, that's an executive function. So you see, knowing the roles of the 3 branches helps you eliminate the wrong answers and find the right one. Here we have a short structured question from NECO. It's a simple one-word definition, but it's a really important term to know. So how would you define anarchy? To get full marks, your definition absolutely has to include one of 2 key ideas: lawlessness or absence of authority. Anarchy is that chaotic situation that philosophers like Hobbes were so afraid of, a complete breakdown of order because there's no government in charge. It's basically the exact opposite of what government tries to achieve. So, let's bring it all together and wrap up. Take a look at this quick revision card. It brings us right back to where we started. Government steers the ship of state through law from the legislature, force from the executive, and justice from the judiciary. Honestly, if you can just remember that one single sentence, you have captured the very essence of this entire topic. You've got this. You all did some excellent work today. You have just taken a massive step toward mastering a key topic for your exams. So what's next? Well, if this was helpful for you, please do me a favor and like this lesson so that other students can find it too. Share it with your friends and your classmates. You can all study together. And most importantly, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more masterclasses like this. And when you're ready to test yourself, head over to www.examkp.com. We have thousands more past questions waiting for you. I'm Hamid. Keep up the great work and let's go get that A1.